Hello everyone, thanks for joining another episode of Sam's Device Advice. Today we're going to be talking about iPads and iPhones in the classroom. So far we've really focused on Chromebooks and the Google ecosystem, and I think it's really important to talk about the other tools that are available. So we're going to look at just some basic accessibility features on iPads that are available with, I believe it's the operating system 12.0 and above, but a lot of this are on earlier versions as well. So we're going to talk about how to get text-to-speech turned on an iPad. We're going to talk about guided access, where you can restrict students to certain parts of an iPad. Talk about Assistive Touch for those with mobility issues, and then a couple visual assists for students as well. Now, to be honest, I don't use a lot of iPads in the classroom much anymore. They tend to be more for content creation, if the kids want to use it to create videos or podcasts, things like that. But for the most part, most of my students are using Chromebooks. But that's not to say there's not a lot of really good tools available on these guys. And a lot of schools are still using them as a one-to-one program. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a few videos that I've recorded on my iPads, just so I can show you what each of these tools look like. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to turn on Speak Selected. So I'm just looking at my other monitor here. So this is a screen recording I made using the iPads themselves. If you're interested to make a screen recording, what you do is on an iPad, you go to your top right near your clock, you drag down at the top, and then you're going to click on, there's a little recording button. If you don't see the recording button, what you have to do is go to your Settings app, under Settings, go to Control Center, and then turn on Screen Recording. Unfortunately, I don't have a video of that, but it's pretty straightforward to find that. But if you'd like a video for that, I can certainly make one in the future. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into my accessibility settings and I'm going to turn on Speak Selected. And we're going to see what this looks like. So you're going to see on the left-hand panel I have General selected, and on the right-hand panel I'm looking for Accessibility. Now under Accessibility I'm going to go down to tap on Speech. So speech is what is going to have the options for text-to-speech features. So I'm just kind of showing the different tools that are available here. Underneath speech, you're going to see a few options. We have speak selection, speak screen, and then typing feedback. As a hint, do not turn on speak screen. What this will do is if you swipe down with 2 fingers from the top of your screen, it will read everything on your screen. So if you have an embarrassing text message from somebody on your screen and you accidentally swipe down, everybody in the office is going to hear it out loud. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on Speak Selection. And underneath, you can see I can change the speaking rate to...
Speak Selection reads selected content.
There we go. So it's going to give you a little version of that. You can see all the different voices and languages you can turn on and off. So in this case, the default one is Samantha. So now I'm going to go into a Google or into a notepad, and all I have to do to have something spoken out loud is press and hold on text. So you can see here I pressed and held on the word is, and now the option speak comes up above the word. So if I tap on speak, it should read it for me. Here we go. I'm trying to select the whole sentence.
This is a test for using Speak Selected. You can
So this works for full sentences. You can do this for just individual words, but this will work on websites, on anywhere that you can select text. It will read it out loud for you. So this is something that I turn on. It's a great tool to have for students. This works in iBooks as well. So I've used this quite a bit in iBooks. If you have a PDF for your students, or even just they've downloaded a book, iBooks will let you do Speak Selected as well. The next tool that I'll show you are the 2 magnification tools. So this can help with visual assists. So again, I'm in General, and I'm going to go to Accessibility again. In Accessibility, I'm going to go into Zoom. So what Zoom does is it opens up this little Zoom window that if you press and hold on the bottom little tab here, it lets you move it around the screen. And to turn it off and on, you take 3 fingers and tap on the screen, and it'll bring up this Zoom box. You can change the magnification zoom down here at the bottom. So again, if you have students with vision issues, or even you can make little games out of this as well if you'd like to. So the Zoom Assist is actually very helpful. The other one is a Magnification Camera. So you can actually turn the camera on the iPad into a magnifier. So you can do different games or activities with this as well. So again, under the accessibility tools, I'm going to go to Magnifier this time and tap on Magnifier. And this, if I turn it on, it says if you triple click the home button, so your home button on your iPad, if you triple click it, it's going to turn on the magnifier, which you'll see me do here. So it opens up your camera, and then it gives you a slider on the side. And oh, look at that adorable little child. So I'm going to drag this slider up on the top and really zoom in on how cute I used to be. And Lord knows what happened. But the magnification is actually pretty impressive. It's a digital zoom, but it could work really well. And again, you can make whatever activities you'd like out of this tool. To get out of it, all you have to do is triple click your home button again. But I'll back that up a little bit. You can actually see that there's a camera button. So you could take a picture of the zoomed in, whatever you're magnifying on your table as well. All right, so the last two I have for you is Assistive Touch. Now, this was actually shown to me by a bunch of my international students back in the day. They would wear out the home buttons on their iPads and their iPhones. Frequent use, you're going to do that, I guess. So Assistive Touch actually gives you a home button on your screen, but it can do way more. And it's designed for people who might have mobility or fine motor skill issues to still be able to interact with their iPad. So again, under General, I'm going to go to Accessibility. And then under Accessibility, I'm going to scroll down until I see Assistive Touch, which you see here. So by going into Assistive Touch, I'm going to turn this on up at the top. And you can see there are some custom actions. I don't really get into that in this demo, but you can set up some custom actions to be done with the press of one button. So I'm going to turn this on, and now you're going to see that button floating around on my screen, and that's me dragging it around, so you can place it wherever you want to. And when you tap on it, you get these options. So by tapping on that button, I now can press the home button, which I'm going to do, and it's going to bring me home. So again, if your home button is broken, you could use this instead. But you can tap on any one of these. So you could turn Siri on from a single tap instead of having to press and hold on your home button. You can get to your notifications. You can open up your control center. So the idea is just to make everything one touch away as opposed to having to use multi-touch or the buttons on the device. So I'm going to tap the home button here, and it's going to shrink down to my home screen. And then I'm going to tap on the Assistive Touch again. I'll tap on the device, and you can see now I can do my volume up and down. I can lock the screen. So you have all the same controls, but now it's an on-screen single touch. Control Center will obviously bring up your Control Center, and there you can actually see that recording button I was talking about. That's what I'm using to make my screen recordings. And the last one I'm going to do is tap on Custom. So Custom, you can add any different controls you want, but I could have a pinch to zoom that I could use with one hand, or one finger, sorry, and same with the double tap, that it's a single tap button that it recreates a double tap. So here what I'm doing is going to bring out the pinch to zoom. So now with one finger, you can control that pinch. So if you're on a page with a picture, you can do that there. So Assistive Touch can be really useful for fine motor control issues, but it's also really good if you've just overused your phone and your home button does not work anymore. Finally, the one I'm going to show you is guided access. So guided access is a great way to provide an iPad to a student who may be easily distracted or tends to go off task when they're given a technology, or even if you have an assessment that you want them to do and they're only allowed to do it in one app. I've actually done this with, let's say, Google Docs. If I have a student who likes to use Google Docs on their iPad and they have a keyboard hooked up to it, I can lock them into Google Docs so they can't get onto Wikipedia or any other tool while they're doing this assessment. So underneath accessibility, I'm going to scroll down, and again, I'm going to look for guided access. So it's my second last option there. So you're going to see me turn this on. And what this does is, again, it's a triple click of the home button. So if you have the magnifier turned on as well, when you triple click the home button, you're going to see these two options and you can choose. I've turned off the magnifier for this demo, so I'm just going to go right into guided access. So what you should do with guided access is you're going to set a passcode. So in this case, I have the very secure passcode you can see here. It's going to ask you to type it in twice. Do not forget this passcode though, because this is how you unlock the guided access. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a YouTube video. So let's say I have a YouTube video I want a student to watch on my iPad, but I don't want them doing anything else with it. So I've triple clicked the home button, which is now you can see guided access started. I'm going to triple click it again, and I'm going to bring up the guided access tools. So it's going to ask me to put in my password. So now this is the guided access controls. The best part that you're going to see me do is you can draw circles around parts of the screen that you don't want students be able to interact with. So if I draw a circle around the top right corner of this screen here, it's going to lock out those buttons from that student. Same with the bottom right now. So if I want to make sure that that student can't go to a different video, if I don't want them to be able to do anything else, anywhere that I have that's grayed out will not be interactive through touch. It's a really cool feature to have. And then I've tapped on the bottom left down in options, and these are other controls you can turn off and on. So I can turn off the sleep and wake buttons so they can't turn off the screen. I can turn off the volume buttons so I can lock the volume where it is. You can turn off the keyboard. You can actually turn touch off altogether. It depends on your situation. You might want to do that. Then when you're ready to go, you're going to go up to the top right and tap on resume. And then it's going to bring a locked screen essentially for whatever app you're looking at. So now the student can press play and watch this video, but they can't tap anywhere where they see that those grayed out ovals. And then when you want to finish it, you triple tap on the home button again, and it's going to bring up your passcode. You're going to type in your super secret code, and now you have access to the iPad again. A really great tool. I've used it quite a few times in different instances depending on your student, but it's a great way to have a little bit more control over what your students are accessing on the iPad. So just a quick review. We talked about the different iPad accessibility features. These all work on an iPhone as well, just as a note. So we talked about turning on text-to-speech with the iPad's Speak Selected feature. We looked at guided access, where you can lock down the screen. Talked about Assistive Touch, where you get that home screen button and much more on your screen itself. And then we talked about the different visual assists in the magnification. We've only touched on very few of the iPad accessibility features. I really recommend going into that settings and just poking around. There might be things that will really benefit your particular students that they aren't aware of. But as always, if you have any questions or suggestions of other things I could go through, please send an email to sam@samgoving.com. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Have yourself a great day, and take care. Cheers.